Okay, we're going to look at number 18 in section 3.7, which is to calculate the derivative. If you look at this, you'll notice that this is not the first derivative, but the second derivative, right? This is Leibniz notation for take the second derivative with respect to x of this function. They don't have the black parentheses like I do, but that's what I would normally write it that way because this is operating on this function. The way you might see it for me, I might say find this is the notation for the second derivative of y with respect to x, right? This is the Leibniz notation if y is equal to sine of 5x to the fifth. In this problem, we're going to be using the chain rule. Just obviously this whole section, we've been using that quite a bit. And from here on out, probably be using it lots and lots as well. So we need to make sure we're clear on that. So I'm just going to let y be sine x to the fifth. Sorry there, that should be to the fifth power. And then I'm going to take the first derivative, right? Because I need the second derivative. I'm going to have to take the first derivative and then take the derivative of the first derivative. So chain rule applies here. The derivative of the outer function sine is cosine. Evaluate the inner times the derivative of the inner function. What's the derivative of 5x to the fifth? Well, we bring the 5 down. That's 5 times 5 is 25. X subtract 1 from 5 gives me 4. So there's the derivative of the inner function. So just rewriting that, there's the first derivative. Now, to find the second derivative, what rule do I have to use? Right? I've got a product of two functions, 25x to the fourth times cosine of 5x to the fifth. So I've got product of two functions. I have to use the product rule, right? So I take the derivative of this 25x to the fourth times the cosine of 5x to the fifth plus 25x to the fourth times the derivative of cosine 5x to the fifth. And of course, here we're going to have to use the chain rule over here. Over here, it's pretty easy, right? Just a power rule on 25x to the fourth, bring the 4 down. 4 times 25 is 100, x to the third power. And then here I've got a chain rule. Outer function is cosine. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Evaluate at 5x to the fifth times the derivative of the inner function, which is 25x to the fourth, right? Bring the 5 down. Get 25x to the fourth. We've already done that one. Okay, so cleaning this all up, I've got 100x cubed cosine of 5x squared. And then I've got this negative 25 times 25 gives me a negative 625. And I've got an x to the fourth times an x to the fourth. Remember, we add the exponents there. I get x to the eighth. And then I've got this sine of 5x to the fifth. So there is my final result. It gets a little bit involved. Thank goodness we don't have to take the third derivative. We'd have a lot more work to do, but you see the way this is going, hopefully, and hope this is helpful.